Meghan Markle is apparently returning to acting despite in 2022 saying, "No, I'm done. I guess never say never, but my intention is to absolutely not." So, what has happened? Ladies and gentlemen, why the about face? Now, this is just a cameo role, but I imagine this is an opportunity for Meghan to dip her toe into the water and try something else because everything else she's done this year, especially, I think, has failed. And the failure at this point is simply too big to ignore. And Meghan Markle is trying desperately to sort of try to get eyes away from the as ever failures. And she is trying something else to be a distraction tactic. But it's not going to work. And trying something new, again, as everything else has failed, doesn't make you any more successful. In fact, it just reveals how terrified of failure Meghan is and how she is too petrified to take real risks and have potentially real rewards. So, guys, we are going to get into all of this today. But if you guys haven't been to Royal News Network before, my name is Brittany. I do provide compelling royal commentary. So please hit that subscribe button. I would absolutely love to have you back. And I did today discover or rediscover my Ana Lucia butterfly necklace, which is so awesome. This is so sweet. Actually, I think I took 10 minutes because it was tangled in some other necklaces. And so I had to untangle it. But I do absolutely love this piece right here. It's so sweet. So if you're looking for a sweet little gift for your granddaughter this year, Ana Lucia, they are lab created diamonds and so sweet. And I think this one is absolutely adorable. So there'll be a link up above and a link down below. And if you use code ROYAL20, you shall save 20% on your purchase. And I can also tell you guys that on Monday, there will be a very big Ana Lucia announcement. And I can't wait to share with you guys what that is. Something big is coming here, guys. Something huge. So keep your eye out for that. And I can't wait to share more on Monday. But let's go ahead and get into this story because this sort of surprised me in a lot of ways, and then yet it didn't at the same time. But it kind of came on the back of something where I was looking at Megan's efforts, you could say, with As Ever and the Oprah list and everything. And I couldn't help but think, my goodness, things must not be going well with As Ever. I firmly believe, and again, I need to do a whole deep dive on this, but Netflix is not behind As Ever. It's not really behind With Love Meghan or Harry and Meghan in general. Because I think Netflix has figured out probably what everybody else has too. Now, it still says, and some reports still argue that Ted Sanders is somehow like fascinated with Meghan and finds her very interesting. But when you look at everything, the hard and fast figures, Meghan Markle is not bankable. She generates a lot of headlines and you can maybe get a decent amount of buzz, but what that doesn't do is convert. So, Catherine and William do things and there's buzz attached to it. Not all the time, but sometimes for sure. Obviously, there's been a decent amount of buzz with the Earthshot Prize, but I would say it's also not really all that huge either. But that's okay because I don't think that's necessarily what Prince William is angling for. And Prince William is looking to have people who invest in his organization, but he's not looking, let's say, to convert people in the same way Harry and Meghan do. Harry and Meghan do things in order to make you buy product, engage in something so that maybe, just maybe, they can make money. But the problem is they generate a lot of headlines. People like me, Dan Wooten, others in the space make more money off talking about Harry and Meghan than I think anybody who's actually in the business with Harry and Meghan. And this is not, let's say, an isolated thing just talking about Harry and Meghan and the royals, but this is actually a bigger issue, you could say, as well in Hollywood. When it came to, let's say, The Acolyte, which was a Star Wars series on Disney. I watched a lot of reviews for that and never actually watched the product. And I would bet you if you added up all the reviews complaining about the series, they got more views, infinitely more views probably on YouTube than the actual series. Same thing with Velma. I watched a lot of reviews on Velma because I love Scooby-Doo, and I saw this series, I was like, "This looks terrible," and it was so terrible to watch people react to it. I watched more videos of people reacting to it than I watched the actual product. And this is the same phenomenon that's happening with Harry and Meghan. Harry and Meghan cannot convert people. And I think they're really starting to find that out. And I think the offers are slower to come in because nothing really is generating money. And you have to understand as well that Hollywood is an industry that is dying. It's completely and utterly dead. It's creatively bankrupt on every single level. It has been killed entirely by DEI. And so, as everything Harry and Meghan have built up, I think slowly collapses. All of a sudden, Meghan's like, yeah, me. Despite saying, and again, we'll repeat the quote, would you ever consider going back to acting? This is Variety. She says, no, I'm done. I guess never say never, but my intention is to absolutely not. So I should have shared this with you guys, but this is the quote. What has happened? Because we're getting something totally different now in The Sun. So it says on Tuesday night, a studio source said, this is a massive moment for Meghan. So she's in this movie called Close Personal Friends, and apparently her role is like a 5-minute cameo, which is actually the same role she had in Horrible Bosses, in case you're keeping track. And it is being filmed in LA and everything, but it's like, but why? It's also not with Netflix. And it says, this is a massive moment for Meghan and signifies a return to doing what she truly loves. But she said no again just 3 years ago. She said no. Apparently, she didn't love it. But now all of a sudden, it's what she truly loves. I thought As Ever is what she truly loves. I thought With Love Meghan is what she truly loves. So we're constantly, and this is from The Sun, flip-flopping into quote unquote what she loves. Goes on to say, she has been swamped with offers, but this one felt right, which I find really funny because apparently she's playing herself and she doesn't even play herself all that well. Meghan Markle is an atrocious actress. She's horrible, like truly a bad actress. And the role in Suits was basically her playing herself. That's the only role she can play. This woman had entirely bit parts for all of her career, maybe 3 or 4 made for TV movie level movies, and one minuscule role in Horrible Bosses. I think it's so short that I don't even have to clip it in order to play it, if I remember right. I think it's just no, I take that back. It was a 30-second clip. 30 seconds. Like, when they said she was in Horrible Bosses, I actually liked that movie. It was actually one of the movies I went to the movie theater to watch once, and then I went back the next day to watch it again, and I own the movie. So I'm like, when was she in it? When? And then when I saw it, I was like, seriously? This is a 2-second bit. Hardly worth even mentioning, if I'm being quite honest. And that is even later in her Hollywood career. This woman was not good. And I will tell you why I think, even though she's returning again, Meghan Markle fundamentally is not ever going to be a good actress. And there's a reason for that. And we'll get there. It says it is Meghan's way of gently putting her toe back into the water and seeing how she enjoys being back on set. I thought she was on set with her whole team on With Love Meghan. So again, we're rewriting a lot of history here. And this is like recent history. Everyone involved is super excited. I don't think they care. And have been sworn to secrecy about her involvement. And yet somehow it's in the Sun. Prince Harry is, of course, really supportive and quite simply wants Meghan to do whatever brings her joy. That's because he doesn't want her around him. That's what I'm going to guess. There's a reason why Harry said he currently lives in the US. Not that it is his home. That's where he currently lives. This guy wants to go home so incredibly badly. I think it's partly because he doesn't like his wife. We have another quote here that I pulled up a bunch of quotes and I was moving around, but we should say this one too. When she was asked about giving up her gig on USA Network, she said, it's a new chapter, right? I've ticked this box. I feel very proud of the work I've done there. And now it's time to work with Harry as a team. And yet, we're not working with Harry as a team. And it doesn't feel like we finished this because now we're going back to it. So again, what's really going on? So let's begin with this. which is I find very funny because Meghan Markle's a duchess, right? She should not need somebody like Oprah Winfrey to help sell her wares, but apparently that's not the case. So, they're on Oprah's favorite things list of 2025. Our signature fruit spread gift box is the must have gift of the season. It's really not. Again, you can get these things pretty much anywhere in a grocery store. This is grocery level store stuff. It's not that exciting. So we have close ups of the spread, honestly, which don't look that appetizing. And this looks incredibly fake. I mean, I think they're going for like a vintage feel, but it looks unbelievably fake. It looks really, 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 really fake. And I found the wording of everything quite interesting here. So we'll just move over to my ex instead of pulling up the email because this I think is going to be a bit easier. So let's read what this actually says. And number one, Oprah's favorite things is not a thing anymore. Nobody cares about Oprah Winfrey. The Oprah Winfrey cult, yes, she still has some worshipers, but it's mostly dead at this point. There's not really a big cult of Oprah. So this idea that Oprah's going to help her sell these things is just simply not true because it's not even the big cachet it was just even a couple years ago. People are so over Oprah Winfrey, they're so aware of, let's say, that she's a grifter in a lot of ways and that she's kind of a charlatan. She sells mysticism and hokum and these sorts of things. And I would argue, even I was watching someone, I think Maureen Callahan, that she's probably damaged a good chunk of the female population in this country with her nonsense. And so this idea that anybody is all that impressed with being on the Oprah list is a little sad and pathetic at this point because that hasn't been a thing since really the Oprah Winfrey show, to be quite honest. But I found the wording here very interesting. So this is from Meghan Markle and the As Ever team going, "We're over the moon to spread the news. Our signature fruit spread gift box is on Oprah's favorite things this year." As Oprah says on oprahdaily.com, before my neighbor Megan started her business, she shared her homemade recipes with us. I love to drizzle it on an English muffin or yogurt or ice cream. I also love bringing a jam or preserves as a hostess gift. Well, let me finish. Yeah, got some strong thoughts about that. And with this pretty box set of orange marmalade, raspberry, and strawberry spreads, just add a bow and you're ready to go. I don't believe a word of that. I think it's all lies. I do not believe for a second that Oprah Winfrey brings this freaking thing to anyone. She does not. She does not, she does not, she does not. Like, there's no Venn diagram where that is happening. There's like nothing. It's complete and utter hogwash. All of it. And to me as well, I feel like this whole thing is, and we see this more in the Godmother's bookstore, which we'll get to. It feels very much like a kid who's trying to sell wrapping paper and is going to like mommy and mommy's friends to like buy her wares. That's what it feels like. It really feels really, really pathetic. And I don't believe for a second Oprah is spreading it on English muffin or yogurt or ice cream. I don't believe that. I don't believe she's probably tested any of these, to be quite honest. Maybe, maybe on the off chance she's going, good. But I don't think it probably moved people as much. And honestly, this sounds like Meghan Markle and her team wrote it because Meghan Markle kind of does the same things all the time. So she mentioned in the Godmother's bookstore thing, which they actually posted a whole video of it now at this point, that, if you do hot cider and hot toddy and you put it on the thing, it infuses the house and everybody wants to come into the kitchen. And then she said the exact same thing on her Instagram. She's also shown her fingerprint cookies. I know I've said this before, but 3 times. So Meghan Markle, I think, very much is in ruts and she's not creative, so she can't think of something else to say as I do something that's wildly under creative. So please forgive me. But it's just one of those things that I've noticed is that she's not kind of changing things up. So to me, this screams that Meghan Markle's team wrote it. They gave that to Oprah Winfrey, and Oprah Winfrey just said the same thing. And so it says, we're honored to include it in the season's quintessential guide to gifting. So much love is poured into each recipe to bring the brightness and warmth of the garden into your home in every season. No, you guys aren't doing any of this. It just is so disconnected from reality. Like they're trying so incredibly hard. It says to celebrate, enjoy 10% off. Ooh, your order with code OFT10. Our thank you for helping us make this moment so special. Share a box with someone you love. No, I feel like they would hate me. And make sure you squirrel a few for yourself while they're still in stock. And this again, I feel like is going to annoy people that things are just going to go out of stock and you can't rely on anything. I think that is going to wear thin real quickly. So, we also had the news that Meghan Markle and her team have apparently included their wares at Godmother's bookstore. Should you find yourself in our neighborhood, not a lot of people would, pop into Godmother's for a very merry as ever experience. Our full holiday collection is making its brick and mortar debut at a gorgeous space for gathering that's close to our hearts and the only shop where you can explore as ever in person. We'd love to see you there. Who's going to drive up there? This is I mean, I think somebody's called it like the gathering of witches. Like this is like the witches haven or something. Like they do pseudo hokum here. This is not really a bookstore. It's a place where wealthy women can go to feel intellectual and get somebody to talk about spiritualism with them. That is what this place is. Like the women who run this are incredibly wealthy and are not actually true, I think, book lovers. Because like the whole concept of it is like godmothers. Because Oprah Winfrey is our godmother, guys. That's a little bit of a terrifying thought, isn't it? So, says Godmothers is just a stone throws away from Montecito. Visit anytime you're in the area. How many people are in the area that aren't already there for something else? Zero. Zero. Do you know how freaking expensive gas is in Los Angeles? Do you have any idea, Meghan Markle and her team, how expensive her products are given the shutdown, given that the prices are still obscenely high? I actually went and got some cross stitch thread and well, I needed technically two little things and I had to buy big packets to find the two colors I needed. So I bought those two big packets and I'm like, each of them are $30. And I'm like, how did all this thread get so expensive? I don't know, but it's crazy. However, there's something else I found really, really interesting here, which is Meghan Markle's whole setup for the Godmother's bookstore, because she did the display herself, and it's pretty bad. So let's watch Meghan set this up. And of course, it's Meghan doing it. So we can see, I mean, most likely Meghan. That looks like Meghan. And we're putting a lot. It's a lot. And she's doing all, because she's got to be so careful, because everything she does, it's got to be so particular. So we have greenery here. And look how stacked high this is. This is actually a really bad display, to be quite honest. And so it keeps going. And so this is the final, oops. So then we have the final result. And since I can't magnify this here, let me get you guys a picture. Now, number one, if I had a vendor show up to my store and kind of do this, I'd be actually pretty upset. This is, guys, immensely, insanely cluttered. It's just feels like a lot and like all these lines of boxes and like stacked like this. Honestly, Meghan Markle might have some skills, but I think stacking things is not it. To be quite honest, I think this is a mess. This looks a mess to me, and it feels like you can't fully see things. Like the sprinkles are here, all like the teas are here. I guess like the hot toddy. This is all over the place. Honestly, this is awful. This is really really awful looking. It doesn't look appealing. And I think you can have stacks of boxes like this if it's something that's on a shelf in terms of like there's numerous shelves and it kind of goes back. But on a table, this just looks like like vomit. It just kind of looks like, and I feel like that's so Meghan Markle's trend for this year. It's just vomit. It's just as ever vomit of products everywhere. And the thing is, her friends go to Godmother's bookstore. People who probably already purchased her products have gone to Godmother's bookstore or are friends through Meghan with Godmother's bookstore. She's really trying to appeal to the people who've already bought her products. Are people, is anyone going out of their way to go to this flipping bookstore? No. To me, it is the antithesis of a bookstore. Partly because Meghan Markle is attached to it. And I don't think she's, let's say, particularly a deep reader because she mentions that the only books she really reads are children's books. I mean, I understand she has kids, but still. But this is not a place I think that appeals to other people other than the people who are already there. So Meghan Markle is putting her wares up and she said she was going to do brick and mortar, but it's a brick and mortar store that she has a connection to, that she has friends with, that she might even be an investor in. So is she actually helping her brand here? No. No, she is not. She's not helping her brand there at all. The Oprah Winfrey thing is also not a help because Oprah is her friend. So does she get on that list because her product is good? Or does she get on that list because she's friends with Oprah? I'm going to guess it's the latter, don't you? I imagine it's because she's friends with Oprah Winfrey. I hope I did that right. Yeah. So that's why. And the acting thing, when it comes to that, I told you to put a pin in the idea of something. Because what I've noticed and what I almost titled this video, but I thought, maybe that's a little bit too much of a high concept, is that Meghan is completely risk averse. There's nothing daring, nothing interesting about her going to Oprah Winfrey and Godmother's bookstore. Oprah Winfrey is attached to Godmother's bookstore. She's not pushing the brand at all. She's not trying other markets. She's literally going to the safest place humanly possible to put her stuff because she's allergic to failure. She is terrified of things not going well, of things not selling well. She's consumed with fear that she actually goes into a real brick and mortar store, that she'll face the reality that the brand sucks. It's too expensive, it's mediocre, and nobody wants it. And again, going to Godmother's bookstore makes me think of a kid trying to sell candy or gift wrapping, or the parents selling it on their behalf. That's what it feels like. It feels completely so incredibly safe. So like you're not going out and risking knocking on somebody's door and getting rejected. Meghan's absolutely not doing that at all. She's not taking the real risks. And that is why she was also a failure as an actress. To be an actress, you have to risk looking like a fool. It's interesting. I follow this woman and she does sort of videos around Manhattan, really catching celebrities and these sorts of things. And you'd watch the scene, let's say with Anne Hathaway and The Devil Wears Prada 2. And she's walking down the street and she looks silly because she's in the scene. We don't know what's happening. It looks a little ridiculous to the average person, but in the movie, it looks good because I think as an actor, you need to have the ability to make yourself look like a fool. Meghan makes herself look like a fool by accident, but real good actors are willing to be fools sometimes to get the laugh, to make the scene work, to take a risk. They will take a risk in a scene. And we've seen that a lot. Like if you watched a lot of commentaries and everything, like I said, guys, I love movies. And you'll hear sometimes, oh, that person took a risk. They, instead of doing the thing we had done 5 times, they did something entirely different the 6th, and boom, everything worked. Meghan is an entirely risk-averse person. She hates risk. It's scary to her. But in the world she's in, you have to be able to take a risk. Like in this channel, when I started it, it was a complete risk. And as time goes on, it remains somewhat a risky endeavor. Who knows? YouTube could decide to shut everything off tomorrow and then be like, I don't know what to do. There is Substack. I do have a Substack newsletter. If you want all the royal news that happened this week, you can go ahead and check that out. But to, I think, have great success, you have to be willing to take great risk. And Harry and Meghan are both not willing to do it. When they did Mexit, I would argue in some ways it wasn't a risk. They did it in the hubris and the arrogance that they could basically do exactly what they had been doing as working royals, but on their time and in their desired way. They took a risk, yes, but it was a risk that they had calculated and that they thought they had control over. And then it went totally sideways. And then when you see all their stuff, Meghan is so contrived, so controlled. She's trying so hard. Like, even when she's attempting to be funny, you can feel the effort. When she has a blooper, you can feel like she's trying to make it a blooper. And she's not doing it naturally. And you feel that tension, that lack of talent. And that is something that has destroyed Meghan's post-royal career. She can't do it. She can't inherently take risks. She has too much of a control issue. And as a result, her businesses are failing. Her show is failing. And she's going back to the business she thought she was somewhat good at. I mean, both her and Harry are escaping into the previous worlds where they were considered successful. Meghan acting, even though she was a mediocre actress, she had one hit show and that was it. And she was a bit player there. Harry being a royal, all of a sudden he's a royal again. And he's really, really trying to be it. It's like, but you left it voluntarily and then burned all the bridges on the way out. So why are you trying to do it again? It's because they've failed. And now they're attempting to escape into their safe spaces. But unfortunately for them, there really is no safe space. There isn't one because Harry and Meghan have made the fundamental error of not taking good risks. They so want to be successful with the most minimal effort that they don't actually try things. And everything has collapsed because of that. This entire year, I would offer for Meghan has probably been broadly a failure. As ever, and with Love Meghan, had a little bit of a high at the beginning of the year, but it's all been downhill from there. I don't think her products are moving. I don't think there's that much interest except for, like the 100 people that were interested in the first place just because of Meghan, because she failed to take the risk. I have said Meghan's goal every single time she creates a product for As Ever is to turn someone like me into a consumer because her product is so stinking good. She's solving such a great problem that I can't live without her product. So even if I'm not a fan of hers, I'm willing to buy her product because her product is good. She won't even risk, let's say, sending someone like me a PR box. If you're so confident in your brand, hey, I'm fair. I said I liked your hibiscus tea, although I tried it again recently and didn't really like it the second time around. But I'm willing to give you an honest review. And if you're so proud of your products, let people like me and others maybe make a fool of ourselves by saying how bad it is when everybody else is saying how good it is. Now, again, that's a risk, but Meghan doesn't want to take that risk. She's too scared. And I think some of that comes from knowing how poor a showing her stuff is. She always wants to take the easy way out. She always wants the shortcuts. Even when it came to her time as an actor, she paid for PR up the wazoo to do things for her that she probably could have achieved on her own organically. Everything she wanted to be inorganic. And at some point, that steam runs out. People figure you out. They're like, oh, these products are mediocre. I bought them twice. I really wanted to try to give them like a thumbs up, but I'm not going to waste my money on a $62 candle when I can go to Bath and Body Works and maybe get a 2-for-1 deal. Reality is things are expensive. It's getting harder and harder to find the things you want for a good price. And Meghan's coming out with, I would argue, overpriced wares. Like even her honey, you'll look at it, it's microscopically small. I can get a whole mason jar of honey for like $11. And you had to pay $28 for hers. And if you don't live in Southern California, there's no reason to. What Meghan should have done is not just send her stuff to her friends. Because what I think happened pretty much probably every single time, is that Meghan would send things to her friends and they would go, "Oh, yeah, Meghan," her strawberry jam or whatever, "so good." And then they give it to their assistant. They would throw it in the trash. They probably weren't giving her real feedback. Meghan should have taken the risk, hired an assistant, hired a team, go out to farmers markets, get some real feedback, build up customers, and then go national because people trust you. You've built up a reputation. But Meghan, of course, did the short way out, and Netflix is not at all, not at all betting its future on As Ever. They have bigger shows to bet their money on. From what I've seen these last couple of weeks, I think Netflix is putting a lot of its future on One Piece. Like they've done so much PR for that, and it only goes out in March of next year. I thought it was coming out in January. They were doing so much buzz about it. No, it's March. I think they're putting all their bananas in that pile. They are not invested in Harry and Meghan. I doubt we'll see anything come out from Harry and Meghan. And I just remembered, I should have offered as well. Meghan Markle has a deal with Netflix. Why is she doing something with Amazon and MGM? It's a good question, isn't it? Because Meghan gave the big interview to Oprah Winfrey when Harry and Meghan had the deal with Netflix. Netflix should be ticked at this point of how much Harry and Meghan have screwed them over. They put up mediocre slop. They had one success. That was the result of nothing to do with Harry and Meghan and everything to do with his family. And everything else has been a flop. As Ever is failing. That's why the Netflix didn't renew the deal to very promising results, and why I think we really won't see anything from Harry and Meghan and anywhere else when it comes to Netflix. And that didn't have to be the case. But Meghan Markle can't take risks. She cannot do the thing that makes people successful, which is sometimes to put it all on the line and go out there willing to be made a fool. And maybe, just maybe, you'll prove your haters wrong. Meghan just simply, I think, is unable to do that. And as ever, I think that means Meghan Markle is going to fail out of Hollywood, because Hollywood is definitely failing at this point. And you can't put any stock in Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. But guys, let me know what you think of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall speak to you again very soon. Bye.